Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Season 3 of the World with Nate podcast. I'm your host, Nate Allison. This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Mattress by Appointment Cedar Falls. It's as easy as calling or texting to set up a private appointment, finding your perfect mattress, and taking it home that same day. Thank you, 𝙀𝙣𝙟𝙪𝙚 and ladies at Mattress by Appointment for sponsoring this podcast. I appreciate it. I wanted to have this guest on because I was standing in the gym and my buddy Brett gives me a little lowdown. He says, "Hey, dude, have you heard this story? Have you heard that we have a professional pickleball player in our gym?" And I was like, get out of town. I didn't believe him. I thought he was talking junk. And then I see who he points out, and I'm like, is he a linebacker at UNI? I was like, this is not a pickleballer. Come to find out, Cam Luhring, I met you at Fit Courts. I've gotten to know you, and I'm just inspired by your whole story. I want to talk about your time as a tennis player, how you transitioned into pickleball, a little of your backstory, and why you're back in Iowa. So thank you for taking the time to come on The World with Nate.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you having me, Nate.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited for you to be here. Let's start with the earliest memory you have with a tennis racket in your hand.
Yeah. So I started playing tennis when I was 4 years old.
Young.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm 20 now, so I've pretty much been playing my whole life. But yeah, I picked up a tennis racket. My brother and sister both played tennis as well, so they're both older than me. That's kind of how I got into it. My mom actually, neither of my parents played, but my mom actually just saw, it was in the newspaper, just an article saying that there was tennis lessons in Waterloo, and she was like, hey, this might be something fun for my brother and sister at the time to play. So That's kind of how they got into it. And then obviously just growing up, watching them play, I just took after them.
Picked up a tennis racket early.
Yeah, I started a little bit younger than them. So
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
You got your foot in the door.
Yep.
You said you saw it was in Waterloo. Where are you from?
I'm from, I went to AP.
Okay.
From Parkersburg, Iowa.
Parkersburg.
Yep.
Okay. And tennis is big there? What's tennis like there? Because
No,
I didn't even realize they had a tennis team until I started talking with you.
Yeah. So AP, it's a small school.
Okay.
My graduating class was around 55. So small, but yeah, I went to Waterloo to practice.
Gotcha.
So it's about a 30-minute drive. So did that. I played pretty much every day. So
coming back and forth.
Yeah, back and forth. I played a few other sports as well. So growing up, I'd go from school to after school practice at AP.
Yeah.
And then right after that, if it's late at night, then I'd be going to play tennis over in Waterloo. So I stayed busy.
Heck yeah. Your whole life was dedicated to tennis growing up, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, tennis was kind of my thing growing up. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what I was known for, I guess you could say.
Well, hell yeah. You were very successful.
Yeah.
You had spoke about your sophomore year.
Yeah.
Let's start there. You won a state title your sophomore year playing tennis, right?
Yep. So I got to play 2 out of the 4 years in high school. So I played my sophomore and my senior year. And
what kept you out as a freshman?
Yeah, so as a freshman, I didn't get to play. I had a knee injury, so I was out for about a year.
Gotcha.
So yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to play then. Sophomore year, came back, ended up winning state.
Strong.
Yeah, came back strong, ended up winning state. And then junior year, COVID happened, but at the same time, I had a torn labrum in my shoulder. So
a pretty serious injury when we're talking about tennis.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I think part of that was probably because of overuse, since I had been, I'm right-handed, so when I play tennis, my dominant arm is my right. So I think that could have been some of the cause for it anyway, but yeah, COVID was going on, and so there wasn't a season anyway, so it made sense for me to at the time get the surgery done, get it healed, and then get ready for my senior year, and then also looking into college options as well.
The future.
Yeah, so I took that time to get the surgery done and just heal properly.
So when we're talking about injuries, are injuries pretty significant in tennis? Does that stuff happen a lot? Because you said you had your knee injury, and of course you're trying to move and pivot and run.
Yeah. So I'd say not really. No, I'd say it's pretty friendly on the body to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But I would say I was pretty injury prone growing up. So So I think that's definitely yeah. So that's some of it. But
what's the high school tennis scene like?
Yeah. So
a lot of people in our state play tennis.
No, I was actually in Iowa. There was probably I mean, serious tennis players, there's a website, it's called tennisrecruiting.com or .net.
Yep.
And that's kind of the website that people use to, that's what college coaches use to get recruited.
Okay.
I use that my entire life. It tracks your tournaments that you play, everything like that. I don't even know when I started playing tournaments. I want to say when I was like 7 years old.
You just open and enroll in any tournaments that you can get into?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And at the time, actually, when I was really young, because I wanted to do tournaments, I remember asking my parents if I could play tournaments when I was like 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah.
And at that time, there wasn't many 10 and under tournaments, so it was 12 and under. So I'd be playing 11 or 12-year-olds, which is kind of funny. But
well, it turned out to be pretty beneficial.
Yeah, exactly. And when I was young, I would just run around. And I had really good technique at a young age, so I would just run down everything.
Heck yeah.
And it drive people crazy. But
I bet.
Yeah, I want to say like when I was in 5th grade, because I played a lot of tournaments. I'd say around probably 17 or 18 a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Probably in cities, huh? Where were we talking? Where were tennis tournaments as a kid?
Yeah, so I'd say growing when I was younger, I did more Iowa tournaments.
Okay.
And there's different sections for tennis, so that would be considered the Missouri Valley, which is just the Midwest. It consists of, I want to say, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, part of Illinois. So
athletes from those states representing those areas.
Yeah, represent the Missouri Valley. So I did those pretty much my entire career going up into high school, and then I also did national tournaments as well. So I did both those, and then
And that record just follows you, the person?
Yep.
And then
so you can track all that on the tennis recruiting, which is nice because that's, like I said, that's what the college coaches use. And so, yeah, it was like when I was really young, I want to say like in 4th or 5th grade, I was ranked like 16th in the country.
Hell yeah.
Which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, that is pretty sweet.
Yeah. And then when I was in high school, I was considered a 4-star recruit.
Hell yeah. Wow. So, yeah. That's pretty impressive. In the state of Iowa, you think about how many tennis players there probably are in California.
Yeah, definitely.
The nice weather places.
Yeah, exactly. A lot less. And obviously that also changes because as I got older, a lot more kids starting going, the homeschooled route, they dedicate a lot more time to tennis.
Yeah.
Whereas, I tried to play other sports as well. I wanted to enjoy not just outside, I want to enjoy other things outside of tennis. So, I did a little bit of both.
Yeah. That is a good piece. The whole, you can practice a lot more tennis if you have less school, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I actually went to a few different academies over the summer, maybe for like a few weeks at a time. Yeah. Just so because I had friends that would go to them as well. So then I would just stay with them and then get even more training in. I mean, it's crazy how young they start them. Yeah, I mean, I remember we'd be starting at like 8 a.m. and we'd be playing tennis 5 hours a day plus an hour of just fitness, an hour set aside for fitness.
To be conditioned.
Not even on the court. Yeah.
Dang.
So, I mean, at a young age playing, being on the court for like 6 hours is pretty crazy.
Lot,
yeah, it's crazy.
Heck yeah, it's a lot. But it rewarded you nicely. I mean, you're super successful in your high school career.
Yeah, I mean, especially now with how just competitive really everything is. Yeah. I mean, you gotta do what others don't want to do.
Exactly.
So that's what it takes.
Yeah, exactly. And putting in those long hours to be the best you can be.
Yep.
Yeah. So your senior, you come off of 2020. What was that like? You're hurt. COVID sucked for everybody.
I couldn't do much anyway. So I just kind of laid low. Then once August rolled around, then I was pretty good to go. So I actually played football my senior year as well. Okay. So at that time I was already committed to UNO, which is University of Nebraska at Omaha.
Okay.
So I was committed there already. So I was like
to play tennis.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're probably like, "Do not you dare step on the football field."
Yeah. But I wanted to have fun with my friends. At the time I was bigger than as well. So I was like, I want to go out for football.
Heck yeah.
So I ended up doing that.
Bigger than, huh?
Yeah. I got into lifting.
Pretty heavy.
Like my junior year. So.
And what was your call to that? You love it?
Yeah. I just have a passion for it. I really enjoy lifting. It has nothing to do with tennis then or pickleball now. It's just something I love to do in my free time.
Different, extra.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, I decided to go out for football. And then once again, I'd go to football practice and then tennis right after. My shoulder is
still
feeling
practicing tennis during football season.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I actually remember.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so I had a tournament. It was in Oklahoma. I had a tournament, and it started Saturday morning. I remember at 8 a.m. match, and I actually played the 1 seed that tournament, which, funny enough, was my doubles partner.
Okay.
But, yeah, I was playing against him in singles, so it was obviously just me versus him.
Yeah.
And, we had a football game Friday night.
The night before.
Yeah, so I played the football game.
Dude, I still remember. I was in the United States military, and I was still some of the sorest I've ever been was like after a football game.
Yeah,
on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, you get beat up.
Beat up,
dude.
Yeah.
So I played the football game. My parents drove me through the night. I was sleeping in the back of the car, and then we pretty much got there because it was, I want to say, it's in Oklahoma City, so it was like a 10-hour drive.
Jeepers.
So I drove right there, stepped on the court. I actually played amazing tennis, some of the best tennis I had played. And, I ended up making it to the finals of that tournament, which is crazy. But yeah, it was a grind for sure.
Hell yeah. That's a lot of time and effort, not just by you, but your parents,
too.
Yeah,
I mean, I got to give all the credit to them.
Where credit's due.
Yeah, exactly. They're the ones that got me into tennis, and I succeeded because of the opportunities that they gave me growing up.
Very strong sentiment.
So, yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, so tennis led you in, you said a scholarship. What did that look like? You were recruited by them? Did you have lots of offers? What'd that look like?
So, yeah, in tennis, it's different than other sports because...
Right, and I'm completely ignorant to any of it, so give me the down low.
Yeah, so at the collegiate level, in tennis, there's a lot of international players.
Yeah.
And so that's another difference. Like, when you look at a sport like football or basketball, it's mainly just recruiting players that are in the United States.
Absolutely.
Whereas tennis, you're competing for a scholarship with everyone
Australia,
that plays tennis in the world.
France,
so
Italy, places.
Yeah, so it's a little different scale.
Huh.
And there's also, on a team, there's 6 players that play, I guess you can consider it varsity.
Okay.
And then, but I mean, on a team, probably I'd say most teams have around 10 total players.
Wow. So not very many.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's really hard to get a full ride.
Yeah.
For tennis. So I didn't have a full ride, but I was obviously still getting an athletic scholarship and then also some academic money as well. So
you got the brains to back the brown.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. So
very good.
Yeah, I mean, when I was at UNO, I want to say we had mainly internationals. We had, I think it was 4, including me, 4 Americans on the team.
Wow. So everybody else.
Yeah.
The majority of your team was made up of international players.
Yeah, definitely.
What was that experience like being a small town Iowa kid?
It was eye opening, honestly. It was pretty cool. I learned a lot of different things just about culture, how things are just vastly different between growing up in small town Iowa versus some of my teammates who grew up in Czech Republic, Spain, Australia, all over the place. So yeah, it was eye opening. Is a good experience. Good, just learning the versatility of different parts of the world. Really, is a culture shock for sure.
Hell yeah.
So so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, especially we're secluded kind of in some aspects in the Midwest, and to get some of those places like you're talking halfway across the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is
it's totally
pretty cool.
Different, yeah.
Hell yeah. So your college experience, what was that like? You went to Nebraska, so this is in Omaha?
Yep.
Okay.
UNO. And
they are pretty reputable.
So we've
what would be big colleges for tennis around here that some people might be familiar with?
Yeah, University of Iowa
has a tennis program.
Yeah, they actually got rid of their tennis program. It was my senior year in high school.
Damn.
But yeah, I was actually getting recruited by them as well. But they were a top 20 program, so that got shut down, I guess, after COVID.
Gotcha.
But so I'd say them. Really, Iowa State doesn't have a program.
Does UNI, Northern Iowa, have
They do not as well.
Okay.
So I'd say them. I guess Minnesota's nearby.
Okay, so Minnesota.
They actually they got rid of theirs as well. Now that I think about it, they used to have a men's program though. I know they were good. Wisconsin.
Okay.
They have a good program. A lot of Big Ten schools, I'd say, honestly.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as far as recruiting players if you're doing it from all those other places. That is wild to me.
Yeah.
And only having 10 spots.
Yeah.
For you to even make it anywhere to get the opportunity to play.
Yeah, it really made it tough during COVID as well because people couldn't
play.
Well, yeah, that, and then they also couldn't go to, if they're talking to a school, they couldn't go there to physically check it out. Especially with internationals. So that was
and all the travel restrictions that came about with all that.
Yep, that made it tough. And then also everyone was granted an extra year of eligibility.
Oh yeah, so now you got to fight against more people.
Exactly. Yeah, so that messed me up a little bit in the recruiting process. Just talking to other schools because they didn't have spots available because everyone was coming back
another year.
Which obviously I'm still happy I went to UNO.
Yeah,
it was I love the coach, loved the team. But that definitely made it a challenge for everybody in the recruiting process at the time.
Yeah, which is wild to hear now that we can look back, on some of those things.
Yep.
And what solidified your pick for going to Nebraska?
Yeah, so I was talking. It was really between them and then Idaho State as well. So
that's a long ways away.
Yeah, so I went out and visited there, just kind of based on what I was getting for scholarship, and then also I went to Idaho State to check it out, which is in Pocatello, Idaho. Okay. So I went there. I wasn't really a fan of the school. I don't know, it just wasn't my style. And I visited UNO as well, and right away just things clicked with the team because I got to meet the team while I was there,
which is super cool.
Yeah, and they were all really nice. So we got along really well, and then the coach, Matt Barlow, he was constantly checking up on me while I was in high school, just seeing how things were going, seeing when I'm playing the next tournament, and so he's just really persistent. I could tell that he really cared.
Hell yeah.
So yeah,
which makes a difference in wanting to go somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly, for sure.
Feeling valued.
Yeah, especially at the Division I level, because I learned quickly that it turns from just having fun into
business.
Into business. So
hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's a strong sentiment too. Yeah, you're with the big boys now. This is costing people money.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So now you're a pickleball player.
Yeah.
And you started this amazing tennis career.
Yep.
What happened at Nebraska?
Yeah, so I was going into my freshman year. We had fall season, so in tennis there's a fall and a spring season.
Okay.
But the fall is just fall tournaments, and then the spring is when you have conference, you have the national championship, everything like that.
Okay.
And so we had fall tournaments going on. Things were going well. And
you were playing?
Yeah, I was playing. I was enjoying my time there. And my dad actually had got diagnosed with gliioblastoma, which is brain cancer, grade 4 brain cancer. And so, once I kind of got that news, things just everything changed. I mean, up to that point, really, now that I'm looking back on it, I'm very fortunate with my parents. They gave me an amazing life growing up. I didn't have to deal with anything like that growing up. So once I got that news, at the time I'm living on my own, kind of doing my own thing, and so that kind of broke me down. I struggled to just to enjoy playing tennis because that's kind of
didn't mean as much maybe as it did before, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I remember we had a regional tournament that was in Lincoln, Nebraska, and so we're going to that tournament. It was like, I want to say it was a week and a half after my dad had gotten diagnosed with brain cancer.
Yeah. And
so coach had asked me if I wanted to play the tournament, and before that point I'd been playing really well, so I was like, yeah, coach, like, I'm good to play.
Yeah.
And so I went there and I just played awful.
Atrocious.
Yeah, I just couldn't focus. That was really the first time I'd played tennis where I just couldn't focus on, playing really. My mind was on other things. It was on my dad. And so after that I just had an awful tournament, and then I didn't really ever recover from that. Once spring season rolled around, I was still struggling just to enjoy playing tennis. It started to feel more like that job instead of just going out there because I love it, which is my life. So so that's kind of when I started looking into pickleball more seriously. But I had previously, going into my freshman year, I had played pickleball a few times, and I quickly started to pick it up.
Is it an easy transition from tennis?
It is, yeah, which you can't, it's weird because you can't go from pickleball to tennis. It's the same, like you can't go from tennis to, or you can't go from ping pong or table tennis to tennis.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of the same thing, but I don't know why it is that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, from going from tennis to pickleball, it works. Yeah, it's a quick transition, or at least it was for me. So, I'd played a few times, and a few local people around here, and they're like, geez, man, like I started picking it up really quickly, and they're like, okay, you're getting good. They're like, yeah, they're like, you need to start playing some tournaments. And I'm like, okay, well, going into my freshman year of college tennis, so I was focused on that once I got to Omaha. So then I took a break from pickleball, and then when I was home over winter break, that's when I was struggling to enjoy tennis, and I was home alone quite a bit because my mom would be up at Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota.
That's where he's being treated.
Yep. So I was there, pretty much just home alone, just thinking about everything.
Yeah.
And I remember it was like on a weekend where my parents were home because my dad would be up at Mayo Clinic Monday through Friday, and then he'd come home for the weekends, just because he was going through chemo and radiation. Treatment. Yep. So
was that hard to see that?
Yeah, it was. But I will say that it wasn't. I think it's a lot more tough for my mom just because she's constantly she's seeing it every day. Whereas I was in Omaha, so it's not like I was having to see it every day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it definitely was a lot harder when I came back for over break, because then I was starting to see it a lot more often, and so that was pretty tough. But I just turned on the TV, and it was like ESPN Plus or something, and I see pickleball on, and I played it a few times, so I'm like, oh yeah, I'll watch this a little bit. And so I start watching it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think that's a guy I used to play tennis with.
For real?
Yeah.
Get out of town.
And so I'm like, that looks like J.W. Johnson, that's his name, and sure enough, they announced it like, oh, J.W. Johnson, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is crazy.
That was your moment that it spoke to you.
Yeah, exactly, because I had actually played doubles with him back in like boys 12s, boys 14s, because he was originally from Kansas. And then once his parents retired, he moved to Florida. And so then I didn't really see much of him.
Yeah.
And and then I come to find out that he's playing pickleball. So I look him up, and he was at the time like number 2 in the world or something.
Dang, so really good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's extremely good. And so I was like, okay, maybe I need to take this more seriously.
Maybe there is something here.
Yeah, exactly. So I went back to Omaha then, and
so after break, you decided
after break,
try it.
Yeah, I went back to UNO, played my spring season. Just really struggled to enjoy playing tennis, and at the end of it, I told coach that I kind of decided to just step away, and which I know was
that hard? A hard decision for you to
make?
make?
It was really hard. Yeah, I went back and forth a lot. It's tough to know if I was making the right decision or not, because like my parents had said, maybe you just need to give it another year or something like that. But I don't know. I was not enjoying it at all at the time, and I'm like, I need to step away, and I just need a change of scenery, something.
Yeah.
And so I decided to move back, be closer to home with my dad and my parents.
I mean, dude, I think it's honorable as shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you get one chance to live this life, and you choosing to be by your dad, I think that's an honorable thing.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I mean, you can play tennis the rest of your life, right?
Yeah, exactly. So once I got back here, then I played a few tournaments, and the first tournament I played, I ended up winning the singles division, which I had only played singles like one other time.
Yeah.
And so
pickleball.
Yeah,
right?
pickleball, yeah. And so I ended up winning that, and then I played with my brother for doubles, and we got second. And so I'm like, okay, I need to play more tournaments, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny though, showing up to the tournament, because I went with my sister, and I remember just thinking, I was like, geez, what am I doing? Because there's just all types of people at pickleball tournaments, like you don't have to be a good athlete to be good at pickleball.
Okay, yeah.
And so that was kind of funny.
It's really multi-dimensional.
Yeah, exactly. So I kept playing tournaments.
And you had said, so your brother's a tennis player too, as well.
Yep.
And you had mentioned to me off camera that you guys had seen pickleball years before and had talked smack on it being tennis players.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Here you are.
Yeah.
Playing pickleball.
We had a tennis tournament, in Arizona. And every single day going to the tournament, from our hotel.
To your tennis tournament.
Yeah, to the tennis tournament. It'd be 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. The pickleball courts were just packed.
Yeah.
And we're like, look at these guys, playing pickleball. What are they doing, And now I'm one of them. My brother is too. So
that is awesome.
I continued to play pickleball tournaments, and then they'd been going well. So with pickleball, you don't necessarily have to have a certain ranking to play a professional tournament.
Okay.
So I just jumped into one. There's one in Indianapolis. So I didn't really know how it worked at the time. So I ended up just signing up for the doubles division.
Okay.
And my brother couldn't play it. Nobody around here that I normally play with could play it. And so I just went in with a random partner.
So they assign you whoever is also open?
Yeah, you can go online and see who's in the tournament, if they have a partner, if they don't. So,
gotcha.
Yep, so I just contacted someone. We're actually good friends now. His name is Matthew Mead.
Okay.
But he's from California, and so I just messaged him like, hey.
Will you be my partner?
Yeah, I'm like, you want to play? I see you don't have a partner yet. You want to play?
Hell yeah.
And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And so we went there, and I want to say we went like 3-2 or 4-2 overall, so it went pretty well.
Yeah, for not knowing each other or anything.
Yeah, exactly. And so then, once I did that, then I'm like, okay, I think I can compete with these guys. So I continued to play more tournaments. A few tournaments later, then I played all the divisions. So for the divisions, there's singles, doubles, and then mixed doubles.
Okay.
And then mixed doubles is just where you're with, someone of the opposite sex. So,
okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're with a female.
Yep.
And you're playing a man and a woman as well. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
So, I ended up playing another tournament, and that one was in Utah. Yeah. And so I did really well at that tournament, actually. I played singles, and first round I had this one guy, 𝙍𝙤𝙟𝙚𝙚. He's pretty well known in the pickleball world.
Okay,
I want to
say,
at the time he was right around like 10 in the world or something. Wow. So, I played him. I'm guessing he probably wasn't, he had no idea who I was. Yeah. And, I ended up winning the first game, which you play 2 out of 3.
Okay.
So I won the first game.
Every game series is 2 out of 3.
Exactly.
That's standard?
Yep. Okay. For main draw. If you go into the consolation or back draw, then it goes 1 game to 15.
Okay.
And so, we were playing 2 out of 3, and I got the first game.
Hell yeah. And made him shaking his boots a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. But, I ended up losing in the third game. But, once after that match, I'm like, wow, okay, I can compete with these guys, So that kind of led me to spend more time on the pickleball court and take it more seriously.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So when we're differentiating between amateur and professional, it's just the tournament.
So when you go to a pickleball tournament, I normally play. There's 2 different kinds, I guess. Or I don't know, you can call them sanctions. Okay. There's the PPA, and then there's also the APP, which...
So those are the 2 most well-known pickleball associations.
Yeah,
Guidance and rules and all that comes from them.
Yep, pretty much. Okay. And so, I normally play PPA tournaments. Okay. It's just, I don't know, it just works out better with... with total payouts and stuff, there's it's pay per round with them versus the APP is, I want to say it's usually like the top
positions.
Top 4 or something.
That is what I read as well, I believe.
Yeah. So I normally do the PPAs, but
So you're actively signing up, and your rank in the pickleball world is active per se.
Yeah.
So you win one, it can go up. Or go down.
Yeah, it goes based on a calendar year, however many tournaments you play. I think I'm not 100% sure, but I want to say they take maybe like the top 10 best results that you have. And so that's kind of how that works. And then also, when you go to the pickleball tournaments, there's amateurs and also the pro divisions. So the most recent tournament I had, there was... I think 1,100 players signed up.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Where was that at?
So that was in Palm Springs, California.
Okay.
Right now, warmer weather.
Yeah, it's most awesome there.
Yeah, most of the tournaments are south right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
1,100 people.
Yeah, there's all different divisions. Anywhere between, it's similar to tennis in this aspect. There's it's called a 3.0, which is like the lowest amateur level for tournaments. And then there's a 3.5, 4.0, 4.5, 5.0, and then there's the pro division, which is basically 5.0 and above.
Okay. So there's nothing above that pro once you're pro.
Yep. Yeah, that's the highest it goes.
How did they differentiate where you rack and stack on those different levels?
Yeah,
as an amateur?
it's tough once you get started. I ran into the same problem because you don't have a ranking or anything that says you're
this good.
Yeah,
who you should be playing.
Yeah, exactly. So that I think that's something they still need to work on. Like, I mean, pickleball is so new. New. Yeah, it's
1965 is when it was created.
Yeah. And so I think that's something they need to work on because it's just. There's so many new players coming into it that they don't know if they're a 4.0, if they're a pro level, if they're 3.0.
Right. Plus, you got people who are coming in with tennis players with years of experience. You can't stack you against me. I'm going to get slayed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that needs to be incorporated as well. Life experience. All good.
Yeah. There's actually a few professional tennis players that are now starting to get into pickleball. So I think 2023 is going to be a big year for change. Just seeing new players, new faces,
and the amount of payouts. Some of these tournaments, they have pretty hefty payouts, right?
Yeah.
Top place is bringing quite a bit of money.
Yeah, I'd say kind of depends on the tournament, but like the last tournament I played, the total payout I want to say was $80,000.
Yeah.
So, and obviously that gets split up between the everybody that plays in the pro division, and then also female and men's side. So it gets split up. I'd say most of the players right now are honestly making their money from their sponsorships and things like that. But because a lot of sponsors, what they'll do is normally they'll just say you win the tournament, then they'll match whatever they pay.
Shit.
So things like that, and it starts adding up for sure.
Yeah. So sponsorship deals, is that pretty localized as far as pickleball community?
I'd say, there's a lot of.
It's growing, and a lot of people want to be invested in it. It seems like.
Yeah, there's a lot of main name brands.
Yeah, players.
Yeah, exactly. So that kind of just depends on a lot of things. But I got. I'll show you.
Yeah, but you brought some gear.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the paddle I use.
So what is that material?
So.
It appears to be like a hard composite.
Yeah, it's carbon fiber.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% sure, I guess, how it's manufactured or what they put into it. But
you
my
just
paddle
know it's
sponsor.
deadly.
Yeah, exactly. But so 𝙀𝙬𝙟𝙬 is my paddle sponsor.
Okay.
And so sponsored by them, and then also Pickle Play.
Okay.
Pickle
so you got some swag on the shirt. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's on over there. But.
And how do you go about these companies contact you?
Yeah, so actually 𝙀𝙬𝙟𝙬, I ended up meeting at one of my tournaments. It was that tournament I played in Utah.
Okay.
That's he was the guy that owns the company. He was there.
Very cool.
And so he was watching me actually when I played that 𝙍𝙤𝙙𝙬 where I did really well.
Yeah.
And so
you never know who's watching you.
Yeah, exactly.
You never freaking know.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's the coolest story I've heard yet.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I got hooked up with him and 𝙀𝙬𝙟𝙬. But there's a lot of name brands like Selkirk. They sponsor a ton of the top players right now.
Yeah. They're who's hot in the industry.
Yeah, I'd say Selkirk's probably at the top right now. Yeah.
So as far as like basic rules of pickleball, is it similar to tennis? What's the rule structure? Okay, so it's like completely different.
Yeah. So in pickleball, you play, like I said, 2 out of 3 games, and the games are to 11, and you can only score.
All 3 games are to 11.
Yep. Yep. And you can only score when you're serving.
Okay.
So if your opponent's serving and you win the point, you don't.
It's
you don't
just
get
a turnover.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And then what's the first hit? Do you have to volley it once or twice?
No, but the third shot the third shot that someone hits, that ball has to bounce, so they can't take it out of the air.
Okay. So you can hit it once to you hit it back to me in the air, but the third one has to bounce on the ground before I hit it back.
So yeah, we'll say like if I'm serving, I hit the serve, you hit the return. That next shot that I'm hitting, I have to let it bounce
before you send it back to me.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Shit.
Yep.
Why does that wrinkle in there?
I think it has to do with just so that the server doesn't have such an advantage.
Because you can set it up and smash it on them.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's kind of why that's
to
in
allow
place.
for a fair start, I guess.
Yeah.
Huh. And then what other rules are different from tennis? Is the court the same size?
No, yeah, court's a lot smaller.
Okay.
I want to say...
And we don't got to get into the exact
it's like 44 by 20 feet or something like that. So, yeah, a lot smaller. I mean, on a tennis court with the out of bounds and everything like that, you can fit 4 pickleball courts.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. So 4 pickleball courts in 1 tennis court.
Yep.
Huh. Yeah. Cool. What other major differences are there?
Well, obviously a
paddle. The ball, too.
The ball, yep.
So this appears to be...
this is it's a wiffle ball. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
So you use that instead of, a solid, I don't know what you want to call it, just a tennis ball.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So that's the
and
difference.
It's a hard plastic.
Yeah, you can't hit it nearly as hard as a tennis ball.
Can you spin that thing?
So, yeah, that's another thing that's in place. You used to be able to spin the ball on your serve. So you could do something like where you rotate your fingers to create spin.
Before you hit it?
Yeah.
Damn.
So the ball would bounce.
I ain't never returning one of these.
Yeah, it would bounce and just take off like crazy.
Wherever.
So they actually just got rid of that rule in 2023 now.
Wow, so it's developing.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and then obviously the paddle, it doesn't have strings, so it doesn't grip the ball the same way that a tennis racket would.
Yeah.
So that's a little difference that I guess I had to change up.
Being a tennis player.
Yeah, being a tennis player, just not being able to hit the ball exactly the same way that I would a tennis ball.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you find your competition? Because we had said, the weather's not very cool.
Yeah.
Around here, what do you do to stay active, to stay on top of your game?
Yeah, so fortunate enough that we have a family friend, 𝙍𝙤𝙟𝙤𝙚.
Okay.
He's got an indoor pickleball court.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he put up a machine shed just for a dedicated pickleball court. So
which is wild to hear.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people, I compare it to the field of dreams for pickleball.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
absolutely.
He has that. He's even got
and this
a
is
loft.
a family friend of you guys.
Yeah. My dad farms. He farms as well, and then he helps spray my dad's fields and stuff. So he has a loft in there as well for viewing, which is awesome.
Hell yeah.
He's got if I actually had someone come and play or practice from Illinois, and so
wanted to drive over and practice with you because I'm sure they go through those same things, finding quality partners to get
exactly.
better.
And he's got a shower in there and everything. So
whole setup.
Yeah, he's got the whole setup. So definitely very fortunate to have him and that he allows me to practice there.
So right now, when the weather's bad, that's where you're spending most of your time practicing.
Yep.
So as far as finding other competition.
Yeah, for players. Around here, we kind of have a main group, I guess, that I play with. My brother being one of them when he can anyway. Yeah. There's about, I'd say, 4 other players here that I play with mainly, and then also Des Moines. They have a pretty good group over there.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to Des Moines tonight to practice.
Very cool.
So I'll be there. Practice from like 8 to 10 or 10:30.
Dang,
so
and then cruise home.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
And then you'll be in the gym tomorrow morning with me.
Yeah. There we go.
Yes, dude, I love it.
So
so Des Moines is a little bit of a drive, but there's probably a big function there.
Yeah. In Iowa, Des Moines is the main spot, I'd say.
Hell yeah. So what is your future plans? What's your aspirations with pickleball?
Yeah.
Are you going to take this as far as it'll take you?
Yeah, I'd like to.
You love playing, you said.
Yeah, I love playing. Yeah, it's It's also kind of nice because pickleball is something different than tennis.
Yeah.
It's similar in a lot of aspects, but it's also different. So now when I go out and play pickleball, it doesn't feel like it's a job.
Yeah.
Another thing is I can go and play pickleball for 3 hours and just have fun.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm playing tennis for 3 hours, I'm not gonna be able to walk after that.
It's not as fun.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty grueling. So that's kind of nice. But I'm in college right now. So last semester I actually went to part-time.
Okay.
Just so that I could play, focus more time on pickleball.
Yeah.
And play more tournaments. Because it's tough being in college as well because the tournaments start on a Thursday and go through Sunday. So usually,
You'll be gone Wednesday.
Yeah, Tuesday or Wednesday is a travel day, and so
I'm
missing.
Of school.
Yeah, exactly. So that made it tough. And then so this semester I'm back to full time, but I took a winter class that counts as a credit for the spring.
Yeah.
So I don't have as many classes again. So right now I'm trying to do just one tournament a month up until summer hits. Then hopefully hit it pretty hard. I'm also hoping to travel a little bit just for practice as well.
So what type of places are you looking at going?
Yeah, so I practiced with 𝙍𝙟𝙟𝙚, who I want to say right now he's number 2 in the world.
Hell yeah.
And so I went and practiced at his place. He's from Coeur d'Alene, which is North Idaho.
Okay.
So I went there. Funny enough, Idaho.
Back to Idaho, huh?
Yeah, and you wouldn't think
almost went there for tennis.
Yeah, and it's not somewhere warm really. So he's kind of in a similar position, I guess, where he has to bring a lot of players in to play with. But so I went there.
Yeah,
I'm
but
hoping.
What an experience!
Oh yeah, it was
leaving
amazing.
From Iowa out to Idaho to play pickleball.
Yeah.
Do people even believe you when you tell them that shit?
Well, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I'll be like, I also play like professional pickleball.
When my buddy Brett told me, I'm like, who in here plays pickleball? And then he pointed you out. I'm like, him? Like that dude plays football at UNI.
Yeah, that's funny.
So,
so I'm hoping to make it back out to his place.
Very cool.
To practice because he's actually been playing for 7 years.
Wow.
Which is crazy because I've been playing tournaments for not even a year yet.
Yeah.
But he's a good person that
definitely a mentor.
Not only that I get to practice with, but he's especially in the doubles aspect since singles and pickleball is a lot more similar to tennis.
Okay.
So those correlate a lot more. I'd say singles is more so my game for pickleball. Right now I'm ranked I think I want to say like 76th in the world right now.
Shit, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so singles is kind of my main thing. But I'm still working on my doubles game and mixed doubles, which he's helped me out a lot with that. Just learning the little details. Yeah, exactly. That aren't so similar to tennis.
Yeah.
So he's helped me with that. Another guy is Rafa Hewitt. He's right around like a top 10 player. He's from Alabama.
These people are very willing with their information. It's a great community to be a part of.
Yeah, one thing I will say is I've learned, I think pickleball, it seems like it's very cliquey almost.
Okay.
So it's kind of you're either in the group or you're not.
Yeah.
So like a lot of the top guys, they'll kind of have like their own pod, I guess, that kind of hang out.
Gotcha.
Which kind of makes sense because they're traveling to all they see each other
all the time.
Yeah, constantly because pickleball is year round. So, you play 2 or 3 tournaments a month and then you're constantly seeing the same people. So I guess that kind of makes sense. But yeah, I feel like I'm slowly kind of starting to get
breaking into that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So he also mentioned to me that he wants to have me go over to Alabama and
cool.
practice with them sometime. So that'd be another good opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you can work it into your school schedule.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's kind of the thing right now.
That's tough.
Yeah,
that's super tough. What are you going to school for?
Yeah, so I'm doing pre-nursing right now.
Cool, very good.
But at UNI, it's considered a health sciences 3+1.
Okay.
Since I'll technically graduate from UNI with a health science degree.
Okay. And then what's your future aspirations with that?
Yeah, so I'd like to get into ideally travel nursing.
Okay.
Travel's always been a part of my life.
Yeah.
Used to be for tennis and now it's pickleball, but I love to travel, to get to see different places.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I'd like to do with that. But honestly, ideally,
After
I'd like
your
to
professional pickleball.
Yeah, correct. I mean, honestly, ideally, I'd like to just do pickleball full time.
Is that feasible?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean the top guys right now, that's all they're doing.
Making paychecks.
Yeah,
enough
exactly.
to support their family.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'd like to do that. I think to give it really a fair shot, I'd probably need to move for that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's something I need to consider.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I were to do something like that, yeah, that's something.
Or who knows? Maybe we'll be setting up tournaments in this.
That'd be
machine
nice.
Shed right here in Iowa, bringing people in.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely not ideal living around here, which was kind of the same story with tennis growing up. So
yeah, and you made that work, dude.
Yeah,
I like the concept of screw what everybody else thinks. Let's bring that stuff here.
Yeah,
you know? Let's bring the theme park here. Let's bring the water parks here. Let's bring the pickleball here.
Yeah, it's getting popular around here.
Absolutely, it is.
Yeah, they're putting I want to say dedicated pickleball courts in Parkersburg, which is where I'm from.
Shout out.
And then exactly. And then Dyke New Hartford, I think they're putting up a few new courts as well, or a couple extra.
And like you said, the utility and the amount of people who can engage in activity because of pickleball.
Yeah.
Young to old, big to small, and everything in between, right?
Yeah, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
That it's the fastest growing sport right now.
20, I have it written down. In 21, 22, and 23, it's named the fastest growing sport in the USA by Sports and Fitness Industry Association Press.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
3 years in a row.
Yeah, I think that is just because of how easy it is to pick up on the sport. You know, if you, like you said, you've never played before.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
Exactly. If you were to go out there and play for 1 hour, you'd see a noticeable improvement, and I think that's
right away.
Yeah, and I think that's
You're not
why
still
people
sucking.
Yeah, and that's why people, they want to come back and play more because they see results so quickly.
Yeah, that gratification sure is a thing. It's nice. And especially when you can instantly improve every time you play, it makes it gratifying.
Yep, for sure.
Hell yeah. Well, before you get out of here, I got to take you to a thing that I do. It's this or that questions. It's called the firing range.
Okay, all right.
So your first question is, are you an early mornings person or a late night person?
I'm a late night person, but I force myself to get up early in the morning and do things I don't want to do.
Oh, yeah. Singles or doubles?
Singles.
Are you a power player or a speed player?
Some
of these might be tough.
Honestly, I'd say speed player.
Pickleball or tennis? Which one are you taking? You have to pick one and only one.
I'll go with pickleball.
Indoor or outdoor?
Outdoor.
Composite paddle or a wooden paddle?
Composite.
We already know that one.
Yeah.
So, and it's got to be, what's the brand? What's the brand? It's got to be Holbrook.
It's got to be Holbrook, yeah.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Iowa or Nebraska?
Let's go Iowa.
Home court, or are you taking a trip to play pickleball?
I'm taking a trip. Taking a trip somewhere.
Sudden death OT or the best of 3 series?
Best of 3.
Hell yeah. That's all the time we have for today, Cam.
Awesome.
I appreciate you taking the time to come on The World with Nate.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
Hell yeah, dude.
Awesome.